Hello SDI students. Today I want to go a little more in depth into function checks with your hammer-fired pistols and some of the differences you'll run into because there are differences between different hammer-fired pistol types. So it's easiest if you just remember that first you're going to clear the firearm, of course. Second, you're going to test trigger function. Then you're going to test reset, both single and double action, if applicable. Then you're going to test the decocker if your pistol has a decocker. And then finally, you're going to test any safeties that are on your particular firearm. So let's start with the Beretta 92. This is double action, single action with a safety decocker. So there's a lot to do here. First, clear the firearm. Remove the magazine. If there's any ammunition in the magazine, that would have to go elsewhere. Lock the slide to the rear. Visually and physically check that there is nothing in the chamber and no feed source. So this pistol is clear. To test trigger function on this, first I'm going to have to take the safety off and cock the hammer for single action because it's going to decock itself unless the safety is off. So to test the trigger, I compress it and it releases the hammer, as it should. Now I rack the slide, and with the hammer cocked, I let the trigger go forward. I hear an audible click. That's your reset. Press the trigger, and it releases the hammer a second time. So that's your single action reset. For double action reset, we let the trigger go all the way forward, long way forward. We get another reset. That's your double action reset. Now if I pull the trigger, it's going to cock and release the hammer. So now we've tested reset for both single and double action. So now to test the decocker on this particular pistol, first we have to cock it. And this safety is a safety slash decocker, and when I pull this down, it drops the hammer safely. In fact, it rotates a little piece here between the hammer and the firing pin. So this is a very safe system. The SIG series of hammer fired pistols, your double action, single action pistols, have a decock only lever, which is on the left side of the frame, and that acts simply as a decocker. It's not a safety. Here you can see this also takes the trigger out of action. So that takes care of testing the decocker. Now for testing safeties. Now that we have this in the safe position, easy enough, we press the trigger. Nothing happens because as long as this is down, the trigger is completely disengaged from any cocking and firing operations. Now, this can also be configured like the SIG. This can be in a G conversion, or you can actually get a G model where the safety here, once you decock, pops right back up like it would on a SIG, making it a decock only, just like the SIG is. Okay, and that takes care of all of the function checks for this particular pistol. Okay, next we have the SAR B6. And this is like your CZ75. Remove the magazine, lock the slide to the rear, visually and physically check to clear the firearm. That's going to be the same basically for any firearm. Okay, so release the slide. So this doesn't have a decocker, so the hammer's already cocked. So to test the trigger, we compress the trigger and it releases the hammer. Hold that to the rear. Cycle the slide, and again, let go forward. That's our single action reset. Pull the trigger. Now don't cycle the slide. We let this go forward all the way. We hear another reset. That's our double action reset. Pull the trigger, and it's going to cock and release the hammer. There is no decocker on this model, so we can skip to safeties. This has a frame-mounted safety, very much like the 1911 we'll get to here in a minute, and the safety is off right now. So we're going to pop that safety on and pull the trigger. In double action, nothing happens. Cock the hammer, which we can't do with the safety on. We'll take the safety off, cock the hammer, put the safety on, and again, pull the trigger, nothing happens. Take the safety off, and the hammer falls. Put the safety on, double action, again, nothing. Take the safety off, pull the trigger, the hammer falls. That's the only safety on this. So we've finished with our function checks our dry function checks with the SAR. Next we have the 1911. This is single action. First we'll clear it, remove the magazine, lock the slide to the rear, visual and physically check. Okay, and this is ready to go. All right, so first we're going to test the trigger. The safety is already off. Compress the trigger, hammer falls. Cycle the action. Ooh, very nice reset. Pull the trigger, and it falls. So we're done with trigger reset. There is no double action in this firearm, so we don't have a double action trigger reset to test. We don't have a decocker. So when this is cocked, you either put the safety on. It's really not a good idea to lower the hammer manually, but you can do that if you had. You would have to do it that way because there is no decock function on this firearm. So we don't have any of that to do. But we have some safeties to check. So we're going to cock the pistol. And this safety, you can't even engage this unless the camera is cocked. But now that it's cocked, you can see that the thumb safety, I put that into the up or safe position. And now pressing the trigger, nothing happens. Now to test this safety, you must make sure that you're also compressing this because this will also prevent the firearm from firing, the grip safety. So make sure that the grip safety is compressed. I press the trigger and the hammer should not fall. Now keeping pressure on the trigger, I will push the safety down and now it will fire in single action. Okay, now to test the grip safety. With the thumb safety, the frame mounted safety off, and no pressure on the grip safety, this should not fire with the grip safety in the relaxed position. Press the trigger, nothing happens. If I press the grip safety, now it will fire. Okay, so we've tested the frame mounted thumb safety and the grip safety. So there is no magazine disconnect on this firearm, so we're done with the dry function checks on the 1911. And if you have any questions, feel free to reach out and contact me. That is what I'm here for.